Hello everyone, this is Rakhi Chabria, the founder of TeachersHelpTeachers. TeachersHelpTeachers is a social enterprise to provide curated content to educators and provide a support group where one teacher can help another teacher. TeachersHelpTeachers does a lot of initiatives in order to support the teaching community. As a part of the initiative of TeachersHelpTeachers, we have launched the Hats Off series. Hats Off series is all about interviewing educators and global thought leaders in order to get inspired and know more about their journey in education. Today, in the Hats Off series, we have with us Dr. Sujatha Bhan. She is a professor and the head of department of SNDT campus, Juhu campus for special education. Her academic qualifications includes PhD in special education, MPhil and MA in psychology. Her area of research being identification, assessment and intervention for children with visual impairment, intellectual disabilities and LD. She has also received the Best Paper Award for Pedagogy of Inclusive Education at World Conference on Education under the theme Innovation in Education. The list just goes on, and I think we will start with the interview in order to know what actually inspired her to get into education. So ma'am, if you would like to share about your journey in education, the first question is, what inspired you to become an educator?
Well, if I go back in time, I'm a people's person and I always liked to meet people, interact with them, understand their behavior, and so that interest in psychology. I did majors in psychology in my graduation, then I did masters, then I did MPhil, and clinical psychology and human development was my specialization papers. And when I came to Bombay after marriage, I was looking for a job in higher education. So I just accidentally happened to land in SNDT, and to be honest, at that point of time, I didn't know much about special education. So I was hired as a psychology teacher. So then gradually, as I came to know about children with special needs and various disabilities, then I developed interest in that, and then I did my B.Ed in visual impairment from SNDT itself. And then I did my PhD here again. The then head of the department, Dr. Smriti Swarup, she was my guide and a mentor in many ways. And then I gradually developed that interest and passion, and now it's been like 25 years in this department. Wow. And I find this journey has been very rewarding and fulfilling. So, yeah.
Great. So now that you have 25 years of experience, what is that one quality that you look out for in a teacher student?
In a teacher student, well, it should not be that they end up in this course because they don't get admission anywhere else. That is the first thing that I look out when I'm interviewing the trainees. They should have a calling for being a teacher. They should have that passion for teaching, because there is not too much of money in this field. So if you're only looking for money, then this is not the field for you. Having said that, we are not doing charity, right? So you have to be a professional, you have to be really good at your work, and you can command your price at some point at a different platform or whatever. But that should not be the driving force.
Very true.
Yeah, and you need a lot of compassion and patience. When you're working with children with special needs, today we are living in that age where we look for quick solutions. And here we don't have quick solutions. So we have to be patient. But when you see that change, when you see that improvement, yes, that little improvement, when you see that, that itself is equivalent to all the perks and everything, and that's most rewarding. So if any student trainee is looking for that, and I can see that, then I know like she's fit for this job.
Very true what you said, passion, compassionate and patience.
Yes.
I think these are the three topmost qualities that any student teacher, or for that matter any teacher, should be having in order to be in this field, or in order to be a teacher.
Absolutely.
Very, very rightly put. How were you as a learner in your early childhood days?
Well, I was a typical conventional student.
Okay.
Very naughty, prankster.
Okay.
And at the same time, well, I can say I was bright, I was good, I would pick up, and I was a curious child. I would ask too many questions in the class. Sometimes the teachers had to just shut me up. And yeah, I mean, I would ask questions, and I was not a very reflective learner. I would like to discuss. I've always learned with friends, studied with friends.
Good.
Yeah, peer to peer, and throughout, right from my school days till my university days, I always needed somebody to be with me and discuss and study. And another thing, I was very logical also, like, you know, everything had to be organized, systematic, and yeah, not a global learner in that sense, sequential more. But yeah, in a group I would learn better, and by discussions and all like that, yeah.
So when you say that you learned better in a group situation, so did you find yourself getting stuck in the conventional mode of education?
Sometimes yes, but since I somehow managed to, you know, get by, it didn't bother me that much, to be honest. You know, I managed to do reasonably well throughout, so it was okay.
That's nice.
But to share with you, you know, I did my master's and MPhil in Punjab University, and where the method of teaching was very, very conventional. So teachers would come, dictate notes, and we would religiously take down notes, and if we asked too many questions, teachers were not very happy about that. But when I came to SNDT, I was very happy here. The approach to teaching was very different. We encouraged students asking questions.
Yes.
It was always a discussion, it was always a brainstorming, it was always projects given to the students, you know, work on this, go in the field, find out, and then come back and we'll have discussions. So we started using films for teaching, we started using books like biographies, etc. for teaching. So that was like a very different way of curriculum transaction than what I had experienced as a student myself. So that change was, I mean, I was part of that change, I also brought in that change, but that was very nice.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, because being a student of SNDT and having passed out, done my B.Ed and M.Ed from SNDT, we did a lot of projects.
Yes.
And even as you said that you used to ask too many questions, same goes where, you know, even I used to ask questions until and unless I was very clear in my mind that this is the way to go about it. So I would completely vouch for the teaching at SNDT. And when it came to answering also, I never saw the educators getting upset. In fact, we would even spend time after the college to discuss doubts and understand, you know, where do we go and how do we go about it. So that is something that really helped students. That's something that helps the students to grow.
Yes. And independent learner.
Independent.
You're
Yes.
not that spoon feeding,
Yes.
that earlier, the
You think
conventional
it.
method. That doesn't work anymore. We want our students to be, you know, curious and construct their own knowledge. So that will happen only when we give them that opportunity. When we give ready-made solutions, then that won't happen.
So coming back to inclusion, since we are discussing about special education, what is your idea about inclusion, and do you think it is achievable?
Okay. First and foremost, let's understand what do we mean by inclusion. See, our society as such, is it really inclusive? We are far from an inclusive society. That's my personal opinion. People may beg to differ. We differentiate people on the basis of various things, isn't it? So when we talk about inclusive classrooms, I think that is one step towards creating an inclusive society. When we stop discriminating students on the basis of disabilities or gender or any other, like which background they're coming from, and having classes, you know, where you have ability-wise groupings, we encourage discrimination, and that leads to discrimination at a broader level in the society as well. So if we want to achieve, like, the goal is to create an inclusive society, we have to create inclusion in your classrooms. So when we talk about inclusion, we kind of focus only on children with disabilities in the regular classroom, right? And that, again, we feel is very difficult in our scenario, because the number of children in our classrooms are huge. In a city like Bombay, you will find many schools which have 70 to 80 to 90 students in the class. So how on earth will it be humanly possible for a class teacher to address the needs of different children who are not fitting into the regular bill, if you call it that? Having said that, if we only look at the roadblocks, if we only look at the hurdles, we look at the challenges, it will never happen. I think it's like getting into the sea and learning to swim, not waiting to learn swimming first and then getting into the sea. So we just get into the system because we are talking about the rights-based model today. It's the right of every child to be wherever the child wants to be, right? So if the child wants to be in a mainstream school, we cannot deny him that. But it should not be just physical integration. The child should be actively participating and actively engaged in whatever is happening, stimulated and engaged and participating in that classroom environment. So there are various ways of doing that, and it's a process, it's a journey. It's not just black and white and either the child is in my class or he's out in a special school. No, we have to find various, have a multi-track approach to inclusion. And what works in one situation may not work in another situation. Suppose your strength of children is not too much. So then within the class, you don't have to pull out the child. Maybe within the class, the child can be, his needs can be addressed. Another thing which comes to my mind often is that whenever we talk about special children, we only think about children with severe disabilities.
Yes.
Right?
Physical or
whatever, like moderate intellectual disability or any profound, maybe, when we talk about neuromuscular or neuromotor disabilities. So there are many children who do not have severe disabilities. They could be mild disabilities, which can be very well looked after in the classroom, in the mainstream classroom, by slight modifications and adaptations here and there. So if we begin from there, I'm sure, that gives the teacher the confidence that I can do it, and then she can take up more challenging cases. And also another very important thing I feel for inclusion to work in our country is collaborations, partnerships. It cannot be done just by that class teacher because she may not even know anything about special needs. So unless she collaborates, unless she's trained how to address those needs, and also till then collaborate with a special educator, right? The partnerships and teamwork, all of that can make inclusion work, definitely. And we have many success stories. It's not that it's not being practiced, it is being practiced in mainstream schools in our city, in Bombay itself. So if we highlight those success stories, ask them how they are able to do it, and talk about it, give them platforms where they can share their practices, what makes inclusive education work, I'm sure more people will be inspired and will try to follow that as well.
Very true. So collaboration and partnership is what is the key to help the children who are facing challenges in the classroom sail through. And with this, the next question is that SNDT is soon to launch the shadow teacher training course. So do you think that this shadow teacher training course will help a regular teacher to gain more information about handling children with learning difficulties in the classroom, and would also help anyone else who would, for that matter, like to become a shadow teacher to that child?
Yes. First and foremost, why did we offer this course? This is the first time we are offering this course. There are many people who want to help children,
Yes.
right? For whatever reason, they want to help children, and we don't have that many trained special educators out in the field. So the parents who are desperate, looking out for trained special educators, when they don't find anybody, then anybody who volunteers, they just take hold of them and engage them in the school. And the schools are okay with it as long as the parents are okay with it. And mostly it's the parents who pay the shadow teachers,
Yes.
not the school, right? So the need is felt that we see that there are many people out there who want to help, and yet they don't have the necessary skills. So they may be there in the school with the child, but they may not be really knowing how to address the needs of this child. So we thought, why not have a course which is a short duration course, and anybody who's maybe just a 12th standard pass can do this course and have some basic knowledge of how to address the needs of this child in a classroom. And it will be a great help to the teacher, definitely, because in a huge class, that one-on-one that this child requires will not be practically possible for the class teacher. So if she has a shadow teacher who's trained, definitely the child benefits, the teacher benefits, and the child is there in the mainstream class. That's our objective.
Inclusion.
Yeah, it helps in inclusion. There is a flip side to it, that many people feel that, okay, just by doing a shadow teaching course of maybe 2 months, 3 months, we become special educators. So that is somewhere, we have to be very particular, when we hire shadow teachers, we need to know, we need to communicate to them that they are not special educators, because the training that goes into full-fledged 2-year B.Ed program, which makes them a special educator, is so much more. Here it's just being given like very basic, which helps them to deal with the child one-on-one basis in the classroom situation. So that point I wanted to clarify. They are not special educators, they are just shadow teachers. They are helpers to the child and to the teacher.